You want me to love. You want me to love. You want me to love. You want me to like things burning cold. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Only hate the road when you're missing home. Only know you love her when you let her go. You want me to love.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to War Thunder. I'm back with some more tournament action, and this time I'm going to be taking on probably some of the best pilots I've ever taken on in War Thunder. In the last episode we took on the energy fighters, and eventually cracked their strategy. But the thing about the energy fighters, although their strategy was very good and they were very good at doing it, they weren't necessarily the best pilots, especially when it came to opportunities with aim. A lot of times they had a window to shoot us and kill us, but then they missed it because they didn't have the best of aim. These guys were spot on in every category. Their aim, their flying, their coordination working together, it was phenomenal. This game here was the first one that we took them on against, and it left us almost traumatized. Windwalker is my new partner here. He's a subscriber to the channel, a fan, and we both worked together to get into the top 10. And after this game, we were just thinking to ourselves, what the hell did we just go through? I'm flying a Spitfire Mark IIB. They're flying Spitfire Mark IIBs as well. But how do they outturn us so well? Now, I want you to keep an eye on Cooler here, because he's going to do something really crazy soon. Just watch. And wait. He's about to pull off a very sharp turn. I've never seen a Spitfire Mark IIB do before. Here it comes. Boom! That turn right there was ridiculous. And it was that turn, and I guess all these other turns to be fair, that kind of made me wonder, how did we lose against them? How was I so easily outturned? I understand I had fuselage damage, but at first it was only pink. It shouldn't be that substantial. Now this is a good example of the coordination. I go for Yatagan, then I see Cooler's open. I try going for Cooler. Yatagan's still going for me. Cooler is turning around because he's gonna go for my teammate, and Yatagan turns around on me, takes me out. They're leaving hardly any opportunities to shoot at them, and they're always gonna stay on your 6. Windwalker did not face such a good ending as well. And here's another example of their coordination. Now what we decided to do was climb at the beginning, because their strategy usually entails that they rush us. They want to get into a turn fight as soon as possible. And we couldn't quite crack. If these guys can outturn us, how are they doing that? Is it something with the control scheme that they're doing better? We couldn't say at the time. We eventually figured it out. But again, just imagine right now, you're clueless. How are they doing this? Now keep your eyes on the money. I'm going for Cooler. Where's Yatagan? He's behind me. And killing me. This is how good these guys actually are. You got eyes on one of them. If you don't have eyes on the other, he will kill you. Whenever there's an opportunity, a slight window for one of them to kill you or your teammate, they will take it. What I found interesting about these two was that they have different personalities. Yatagan is much more cautious about his life. Cooler, on the other hand, is unrelenting. He's all in, and a head-on he will not break off. You have to go head-on with him. If you try to break off from that head-on, save your life, it won't happen. He will kill you because he has enough time to actually do it. So at least we killed each other. But Yatagan is on Windwalker, and as you can imagine, Windwalker being damaged like he is now is not gonna fare too well. Every time we would take them on, they would rush us straight away at a slight incline. So we came to realize that the only way we could try to prevent this by playing on their terms was we would have to climb, hopefully above them. Except they made a mistake this time. Notice the separation between the two. Cooler being a lot closer than Yatagan, leaving us an opportunity to shoot Cooler first, kill him, and then Yatagan easy for the pickings. Although these guys screwed up that time, it gave us the confidence to know that these guys were actually beatable, that they weren't some sort of immortal pair. Now what they were doing every single time was they were rushing us, because obviously they had a strategy going on where they knew if they rushed us that they were playing on their own terms. And that's exactly what they wanted, and that's what we could not give them. So instead, at the very beginning, we decided to start climbing. Maybe that was the best thing to do. But doing that, it actually gave us time to figure out what they were doing, why they were rushing, and how it managed to give them such amazing turn times. But now I'm gonna pose that question to you guys. Did you watch carefully enough in the previous clips? Do you understand how they were able to outturn us? I'll give you a few seconds. No? Alright, let's watch this clip again. At the start of their attacks, before the weapon lock was unlocked, they would go into some sort of dive. Yatagan going for the more exaggerated one this time, and Cooler going for a slight one. As you can tell, he peeked, and then he went to do a slight dive, whilst this entire time I was climbing up to meet him. That slight dive gave him more speed than I did, and allowed him to turn sharper than I could. It's amazing to think that such a small speed boost can give you such a greater turn rate. But these guys knew exactly that, and they took advantage of it. But the thing is, they wanted us to play on their terms. They wanted us to rush in with them and meet them at weapon unlock. But that's exactly what we decided not to do. We were going to outclimb them. We were going to have more altitude and thus more speed than they would. And then they began panicking. All of a sudden, their win streak was turning into a losing streak. And so they decided that, okay, this rush is not working straight away against these guys. We're gonna try to fool them. We're gonna go climbing off to the side, but overall our strategy is gonna be the same. We're going to use slight dives with one of us a bit more in front of the other. But the thing is, our strategy did not change to counter it. We still climbed immensely at the beginning at a very inefficient angle. And of course we had more speed and a lot more time to actually kill these guys and get our shots off on them. You can tell how frustrated players are by how they change strategy from game to game. So in the last one they tried to fake us out, but although we saw through it, this time they decided screw it. We're gonna go back to our old strategy and hopefully it's going to work. But they keep on screwing up. I think now they actually lost their composure, where the distance between them was so substantial that allowed us to get basically a double head-on pass against them. That's a bad thing. And there's a saying that imitation is the best form of flattery. Well, notice something right now? Yeah, they're not rushing. What are they doing? They're climbing exactly like us. Like the strategy we've been using against them. Climbing at a very inefficient angle right at the very beginning. They decided to copy it as well. Thing is, once they're playing on our terms, well, that's exactly it. They're playing on our terms. And so we have the advantage. And there we go. That's how we lost against Yatagan and Cooler. How we figured out what they were doing and how we countered it. This happens a lot in this 2 vs 2 event, where you're going to be up against different squads with different strategies. Even though they might be using the same planes as you, they will be flying differently. And it's always fun and exciting to learn what they're doing and then figuring out how to take it out. In my opinion, these guys were harder to figure out than the energy fighters of last episode. Because energy fighting, you know that in order to counter it, well, you could just use a better energy fighter. But these guys, when they're using the exact same aircraft as you and they can turn better than you, well, they're doing something. And even though it might be very subtle, that can be sometimes a bit hard to figure out. But luckily we did, and we prevailed in the end. So hope you guys enjoyed this. I've got to actually get back into top 10 because I'm not into top 10 anymore. So I could imagine that there's going to be more exciting games for me to post up from this tournament. But I hope you enjoyed this episode and you learned something, or if you didn't learn anything, well, I just hope you found it entertaining. But until the next video, this is Krebs, and I'll catch you guys next time.